Okay, hello. Whoa, this is round number 3. Maybe I shouldn't tell them that. But we're honest here. We are, if nothing but honest on this channel. This is round 3 of me trying to record this video. So, hi. Are you new here? Going to be discussing today how I read 100 books this year. I read 100 books this year, and this year going to be discussing my top 10 books of the year. Yes. So some of these books are like 4 or 4.5 stars, and I have read some 5-star books that are not on this list, but these are my favorites. How does that make sense? It makes sense to me, but it may not make sense to other people. Talking to you, Virgos. But it makes sense to me, and this is my list, so period. You know what? I didn't even tell you that this list is going to be going in order of when I read them throughout the year. So, for example, I read this next book in January. Miss Rule by Heather Walter Queen. I will read anything you write, anything at all. Send it my way, please. Okay. Miss Rule is set 100 years after Malice. I would show you Malice, but I don't have it at the moment. Set 100 years after Malice happened. So we follow Alice and what she's doing now, how she is handling what happened. I can't really say too much because I don't want to spoil Malice, because I do want everyone in the whole world to read this book because it's absolutely amazing, beautiful, amazing, gorgeous, spectacular. Not like a lot of people like will not agree with me, and what I will have to say to them is that they're wrong. Just saying. Anyway, so yes, this is one that I give 5 stars. This is one I cried one time in this one. So I don't remember if it was like at a sad part. I do need to reread this because I did read this in January. I did read the art copy. Of course I bought this. Of course. I love Malice. Hello? Okay, so the next one we're going to be talking about literally changed my life. I was like, okay, this next book put me in a 4-day reading slump. I was like, I don't want to listen to an audiobook. I don't want to read a book. I don't want to see any words. All the words that I knew in my head, I just want them to be gone. Because this next book is Bunny by Mona Awad. Hello. Okay, so this book, we follow Samantha. She is a college student in a prestigious MFA program, and she doesn't really like the other students in her program. And they're like these popular girls or whatever, and they call each other Bunny. And one day, they're like, hey girl, do you want to come to our salon where we like write and we talk about what we write and we do some cultish activities? And then she abandons her only friend Ava and is like, yeah, sure, like I'll go to your club. And so we just follow her throughout her school life, and the lines between fiction and reality begin to blur. So we're like, hello, excuse me, what the heck is even going on here in this book? We have an unreliable narrator. We have every other word being Bunny, and that's a little bit weird. And what I do love about this book is a great book. It's a great book to talk about with other people. It's a great book to annotate. I did annotate this book. This one is to be annotated, but I did annotate this book. Me and my friend Tyra, shout out again, and every video, hello. We did annotate this book, and yeah, currently passing this around to my friends to annotate, because this book you have to read twice. After, okay, So there's the first time where you think about like, oh, what's going on? And then at the end you're like, what? And then you are like me and you go on Reddit, or you watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos, or you read my note in the back that says the After Bunny explanation, don't read until after, or do not read before. And then you're like, oh, hold on, and then you go and you reread it. And that's how you're supposed to read this book. I mean like, if you want. This just looks so natural. This just looks like, doesn't this look so natural to be next to me? Hello? Okay, so okay. What I was gonna say was the writing is beautiful. So if you hate the book, then at least you get to read beautiful writing. I'm sorry to my friends who hated this, who I told to read it. But I mean, like, I'm not that sorry because you got to read great writing. This book is WTF, but in the best way. Because there are some other books that are WTF and in the wrong way. If you know what I'm saying. Okay, I was not done talking about this. So, so people describe this as Heathers meets Black Swan meets Secret History meets Alice in Wonderland. So if you put those all together, you know, then that's like what you get. That's the vibes. The vibes. Oh my god, the next book. Okay, the next book that we're going to be talking about, book number 3. Oh my gosh, I've been talking for so long. Okay, so I got this art copy, Mistakes Were Made, by Meryl Wilsner. I hope I said your name right, Meryl. Okay, so this is one of the ones that I give 4.5, but it's still on my list because I thought it was so good. Like, okay, so let me tell you what it was about first. I got the art copy of this. Did I say that? I probably did. A senior college student accidentally hooks up with her friend's mom, T, and then the next day, the friend is like, oh my god, I want you to meet my mom so bad. Then she goes and she meets her, and then she's like, the main character, Cassie, is like, oh my god, that's literally the lady, but she doesn't say anything, of course. And then it just follows how they're like, you know, like doing things behind the friend's back. And it's messy, it's drama, it's, oh my god, it's anxiety inducing. It's like, okay, so this is just like a fun little messy book. It's just fun and messy. It felt like a fan fiction, but in a good way. So there's also some, okay, so like, if you know, you know, like, okay, so this one felt like a fan fiction, but in a good way. Like, it was easy to read and it kept my interest throughout. You get it. You get it. This is probably the book that I've cried the most, and it's Heartstopper, the 4th volume. Nick and Charlie, they have my whole freaking heart. Because, okay, this is the 4th book, so I really can't say much, but it goes into some heavy stuff. And okay, so it gives you a little bit of a hint of what the 4th book will be about, and it was about it, that's for sure. And it was so sad and like heartwarming, and it's just so beautiful to see that like relationship, I guess. And this one, of course, was the 5 stars. And did I mention that I ugly cried? I ugly cried a lot. It was something. And the TV show, I liked it. It was fine. Like, it wasn't anything compared to the novels, of course, because nothing compares to them. It's probably my favorite graphic novel. And this next one is YA, and I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. It's called She Gets the Girl by Rachel Lippincott and Allison Derrick. It's Molly's first year of college, and she is hung up on a girl from her high school. This girl's name's Cora. You know, she's okay. She's fine. And we also follow Alex, she's like a player. and she's like a selfish flirt. And so they meet because Alex is flirting with Cora, the girl that Molly likes, and they're like both at a party and they're like hanging out or whatever. Anyway, so Molly and Alex start like talking a little bit, and Molly's like, I don't have any idea how to talk to girls and I have a crush on Cora. And then Alex is like, you know what, this would be so good for me to help you, and it can prove to my ex that I'm not selfish and just flirt with any girl that I see. And then Alex and Molly form a plan on how to get Cora, and also how to like keep not, I guess, like impress Alex's girlfriend. They just start hanging out and becoming really close friends. It's just so cute. Like, their friendship is so cute. The whole book is so cute. Like, the whole time I was like, oh. When you get to the part that the cover is, I guess, referring to, it's just so freaking cute. And I just liked it. Everything about it. I rated this. This is also one of the ones I rated 4.5 stars because it was just so cute. The next one is controversial to the dark academia community. If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. People call this book a knockoff of The Secret History. Do I agree? A little bit. But I think it was much better, obviously, because it's on my favorites list. And I'm going to tell you that Secret History is not on my favorites list. So we follow Oliver, the main character. He has been in prison for 10 years for a murder. He's finally ready to share what actually happened 10 years ago to retiring detective, or a detective who's retired, the detective who put him in jail. So we go through his like confession of what actually happened that night of that he was a student in college in a prestigious bougie acting program for Shakespeare, and there was like a group of people. I don't really, to be honest, I don't remember how many people there were. I think there were 6. So one of them dies, and the whole dynamic of the friend group shifts, and we follow their slow descent into madness. I love saying that for some reason. So it's great. The vibes were great. I liked that they were okay. So honestly, anything about actors just hits different for me. I don't know what it is. Maybe because I am an actor. It's just so. Yeah, there's a book about an actor. Let me know. This one, of course, is 5 stars. I liked all the Shakespeare references. I know a lot of people who have reviewed this book are like, I didn't understand the Shakespeare references, blah, blah, blah. But as a Shakespeare girly, or I'm a retired Shakespeare girly, I don't read much of Shakespeare anymore. I feel like there's no need for me to do that. What I liked was the end. I liked how it wrapped up. I liked his reason for going to jail. And just like a lot of things. I wish I had more to say, but honestly, I just have so much to say about Bunny that now I'm honestly like, I'm thinking about Bunny right now. The next book that I read, not my whole ankle shifting. Okay, so the next book that I read is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. To be honest, I'm not a nonfiction girly. I'm not a memoir girly. I don't like nonfiction. I don't like any of that. But of course I had to read this. Of course. I always watched iCarly growing up. I sang an iCarly song for a pageant that I was in a long, 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 long time ago. That's so embarrassing. Anyway, so Yeah, so I was like, okay, period. Yeah, it's just like a memoir of her life, of Jeanette McCurdy's life, and it's very intense. Please, please do check the trigger warnings. Like, I'm not sensitive to much in books, like, at all, but this one was really intense, but it was like really good. Shocking, but like not in like a shock factor kind of way. Like, I mean, I guess it was her life, so I really liked, like, you can tell that she's passionate about writing, and of course it's 5 stars. Everyone on my Goodreads list who has marked this book as read has marked it as 5 stars, of course. And it's so heartbreaking, and it's beautiful, and the audio is narrated by her. And there's this one part, I don't know, okay, so she's an actor, I don't know if this was on purpose, but there was one part where she, like, I think she like sniffled, or like you can hear in her voice she like broke a little bit, and that's when I cried. I don't even remember. I wish I remembered what part it was at, but I was like, dang. Next one could have been everything to me. The next one could have been everything to me. Cackle by Rachel Harrison. Of course, she's still my favorites. Of course. And of course, I talked about this on my October wrap up. Yes, October wrap up, I chatted about this book. After a breakup, Annie moves to a small town, and she meets Sophie, who is the town witch. Nobody really likes Sophie, and Annie and Sophie become friends. And it's a little bit toxic. It's a little bit dependent. And I don't know, it's just like such a good time. Like, it's the fall vibes. It's like a great Halloween book. There's witches, there's spiders. If you have a fear of spiders, absolutely do not read this, because there's just spiders everywhere. And Ralph is literally the cutest spider ever when he waves. Oh my god, love. He's so cute. And then, okay, so the way that the author, I also read Such Sharp Teeth by this author. And she writes like friendship, relationship-y stuff well. However, I don't like the other one that much. But yeah, so she writes the friendships well, I think. And that's just like, I just enjoyed it. It was just a fun Halloween read. It was a fun time. 4.5 out of 5. And it would have been everything to me if they were gay. They were not gay. I know they were not, but it was very gay, very extremely gay. Like, why were they gay? Anyway, number 9, one that I recently read, and I talked about this on my November wrap up. This is The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. Hello, of course, she was going to make it to my favorites. This is a Carrie retelling about a girl who was white passing, and she disguises herself as white at school, and one day it starts to rain, and she's like, oh crap, I swear, check the weather, and then her hair gets wet, starts to curl. Everyone starts bullying the crap out of her because of that. And yeah, and then so stuff goes down at prom, and we follow a podcast called Maddie Did It, covering the night and leading up to prom. And bro, it was so good. This is a YA. It did not feel like YA. It was so good. Like, not that YA can't be good. This one just was so good. I did talk about this in my previous video. If you'd like to check that out, you can. So I'm not going to really talk too much about it, but I liked how when we followed the podcast, we could see how, like, true crime podcasts in real life can be misinformed. Yep. I liked how complex the characters were, because they were complex. Hello, Wendy. The way that she was written was really well, I thought. Like, I freaking hated her. But I thought she was written really well. 5 out of 5, of course. Are you kidding? No less for that. And it's literally, I need to be sent to jail for not reading any of Tiffany D. Jackson's other books. So I need to check them out. The last one. Everyone knows. The last one, though, might honestly replace somebody up there with my favorite book of all time. I'm going to have to reread it. I'm going to have to seriously think about if I want to make that life-altering decision to replace with this one I also just talked about in my November. Of course, if you're shocked, have you been to this channel before? Hello? Breaking Character by Lee Winter, 5 stars. We know what this is about. Hello? Oh, God. We know what this is about. This is about Summer and Elizabeth. Hello? They are actors on TV's hottest medical drama. And one day... Okay, so they're closet lesbians, and one day a paparazzi catches them embracing, and they were not really embracing because Summer was about to fall on her face, and Elizabeth was like, oh no, let me catch you, I just bent it, oh no, let me catch you. And then she was like holding her, and that was the compromising position. And then Elizabeth was like, I don't want being a lesbian attached to my name, so like, don't talk to me please at work. Hello, please stay away. And so yeah, so then Summer was like, okay, but I didn't do anything to you. And then a famous director calls up Elizabeth and is like, hey, yo, homie, you want to do this movie? Bring your girlfriend to dinner. And then Elizabeth's like, oh, crap. Summer, can you please come to dinner with me? And then Summer's like, okay. And then they start to fall for each other. It's so precious. I love this. I talked about this in my November wrap up, so if you want to check that out, you definitely can, and you definitely should. It's just amazing. If you want to read this, you can borrow it after I'm done reading it, after I'm done annotating it, because I need to annotate this. I need to annotate it as soon as possible. So thank you guys so very much, so very much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking around to the end. If you're here, you can leave an emoji. What should you leave? Oh my gosh, leave an emoji honoring Miss Rule. Leave a purple heart emoji for Miss Rule. For the first book of my favorites list, of course she was going to be there. Of course! Are you kidding? Thank you so much. And if you had a favorite book this year, please let me know in the comments. I would really love to know. Because I'm in a weird era right now. I'm like, I want to be in my fantasy era. I want to read this. Thank you. And I'll catch you later.